Welcome back to our channel, World of Coins. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them because it could make you a millionaire overnight. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating pieces of American currency, a coin that may be hiding in your collection right now, waiting to bring you a small fortune. The coin we're focusing on is the 1-cent coin from the United States, minted in 1970. While it may seem like just another penny, this little coin has a story to tell and a value that might surprise you. Stick around as we uncover why this coin is so special and what makes it so valuable today. Let's start by looking back at the year 1970. It was a time of change in the United States. The country was in the midst of the Vietnam War, the civil rights movement was gaining momentum, and the space race was still a hot topic, especially with the Apollo 13 mission being launched that year. However, for all the major events that occurred in 1970, the year was also significant for U.S. coinage. The 1971 cent coin, like many others, was produced to meet the high demand for low-value coins. Yet, this particular penny stands out because of some unique characteristics that make it rare in today's market. While the minting process in 1970 was no different from the one used for other pennies, it was the condition and limited availability of certain versions that sparked interest among collectors. Over time, the U.S. Mint produced millions of these pennies. They were circulated widely and, as you might expect, spent time in pockets, on street corners, and in piggy banks. But here's where it gets interesting. There are some variations of the 1970 penny that stand out because of minting errors or unique conditions. Most notably, the 1970 penny was produced with a special D mint mark, representing the Denver Mint, and it's these coins in exceptional condition that are commanding huge prices. Now, it's important to note that not all 1970 pennies are worth a fortune. The value of a coin depends heavily on its condition. The ones you find in circulation or in your everyday coin jar likely won't make you rich. However, if you're fortunate enough to find a 1970 penny that is in mint condition, perhaps even uncirculated or with a rare error, then you're holding on to something very special. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for coins that have minimal wear and tear. This means that any penny from 1970 that looks as if it's just been freshly minted could easily catch the eye of a serious collector. But that's not all. Some 1970 pennies feature notable errors, such as double die obverse errors, where the design is struck multiple times, giving the coin a unique and distinct look. These error coins are extremely valuable because they are one-of-a-kind. One of the most sought-after versions of the 1970 penny is the 1970s small date variety. This coin, which was minted in San Francisco, is particularly rare due to a production error that occurred during minting. Because of this error, there are fewer of these coins in circulation, and finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. So, what is the real value of the 1971 cent coin today? If you happen to have one of these rare, uncirculated 1970 pennies, or a version with a unique minting error, you could be looking at a coin that is worth far more than its face value. Here's the exciting part. The price for a 1971 cent coin with exceptional characteristics has soared over the years. If you're lucky enough to own one of these rare finds, it could be worth an astonishing $62,000. Yes, you heard that right, $62,000 for a single 1970 penny. This is a clear example of how the right coin in the right condition can lead to a truly unexpected windfall. So, if you're digging through your coin collection or scouring through old change, keep an eye out for that 1970 penny. It might just be your ticket to a small fortune. Before we wrap up, remember to take good care of your coins. The condition of your coins matters more than you might think, and the value can change drastically depending on how well they've been preserved. If you think you might have a 1970 penny worth a pretty penny, consider taking it to a professional appraiser or coin dealer for a closer look. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1971 cent coin and its hidden value. Top 2, we're going to reveal the hidden value of a coin that many people overlook, the 1-cent coin from 1974. At first glance, it might seem like just another penny, but if you dig a little deeper, you'll find that this particular coin could be worth a small fortune. Stick with us as we take you on a journey through the history, design, and, most importantly, the incredible value of the 1974 1-cent coin. The year 1974 was a pivotal time in U.S. history. The country was grappling with the effects of the Vietnam War, dealing with the aftermath of the Watergate scandal, and navigating a difficult economic climate with rising inflation. While all of this was happening on the world stage, something very interesting was happening with U.S. coinage, specifically, with the 1974 1-cent coin. The 1974 penny was part of the regular production of 1-cent coins by the U.S. Mint, but it's the rarity of certain versions of this coin, along with the unique circumstances of the time, that make it a must-have for collectors today. While millions of 1974 pennies were minted, only a few hold true collector value, and finding one of those rare specimens can be a game-changer. One of the most significant factors that contribute to the value of the 1974 penny is its condition. Coins that have been circulated, used, and worn over the years typically hold little value beyond their face value. However, when a 1974 penny is found in pristine, uncirculated condition, its worth skyrockets. These well-preserved pennies are highly sought after because they're so rare. Most pennies from 1974 have been spent, stored in change jars, or lost over the years, which means that any coin in mint condition is a treasure waiting to be discovered. Another factor that adds to the allure of the 1974 penny is the possibility of finding one with a minting error. Throughout the minting process, occasional mistakes happen, and when those mistakes make their way into circulation, they become some of the most valuable coins in the market. For example, some 1974 pennies were struck with a doubled die error, where the image on the coin appears slightly shifted or doubled. These types of errors are rare, and because of their uniqueness, they can command high prices from collectors who are willing to pay a premium for such a rare find. Additionally, there is a specific variation of the 1974 penny that is especially valuable, the 1974 small date penny. This version was minted at the San Francisco Mint and features a smaller date than the standard version. These coins were produced in limited numbers, and finding one in excellent condition is incredibly rare. The demand for these pennies among collectors has driven their value up significantly, making them a prized possession for anyone lucky enough to own one. So, what exactly is the value of a 1974 1-cent coin today? The answer might surprise you. If you have an uncirculated 1974 penny, or better yet, one that features a rare minting error or is part of the small date variety, it could be worth a staggering $58,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $58,000 for a single 1974 penny. This is an amazing example of how a small, seemingly insignificant coin can turn into a valuable piece of history, depending on its condition and rarity. If you happen to stumble across one of these rare gems, it could be a life-changing discovery. Now, before you start hunting through your coin collection, keep in mind that not every 1974 penny will be worth a fortune. The value is all about condition, rarity, and whether or not the coin has any minting errors. So, if you find a 1974 penny that looks like it just came out of the mint, or if it has an error, make sure to have it appraised by a professional. You might be sitting on a goldmine without even knowing it. Top 3, we've got an exciting discovery for you, a coin that might be hiding in your pocket or coin jar right now and could be worth thousands of dollars. We're talking about the 1-cent coin from 1978, a seemingly ordinary penny that, in the right condition, could be worth an astonishing amount. Stick around as we dive into the history, design, and most importantly, the value of this incredible coin. The year 1978 was an eventful one for the United States. The country was going through a time of economic change, with inflation rates on the rise and the energy crisis still having an impact. On the political front, Jimmy Carter was in his first year as president, and the U.S. was adjusting to a post-Vietnam world. But while all these historical events were unfolding, the U.S. Mint was busy creating coins, including the 1978 1-cent coin, which, unbeknownst to many, would eventually become a prized collectible. Most people might not give a second thought to a penny, especially one minted in 1978. After all, millions of these coins were produced and circulated throughout the country. But here's the catch: while these pennies were produced in large quantities, there are certain factors that have led to an increase in their value over time. And when you know what to look for, that 1978 penny in your jar could be worth a whole lot more than you think. One of the most important factors when it comes to coin collecting is condition, and the 1978 penny is no exception. If you come across a penny from this year, chances are it has been used for decades. Most of these pennies have been spent, collected in jars, or simply lost to time. However, in the world of coin collecting, it's the coins that have been preserved in excellent, near-mint condition that attract the most attention. A coin that looks as though it just came off the press can fetch a significant price. So if you happen to find a 1978 penny in pristine condition, you might be sitting on a valuable piece of history. Another element that makes the 1978 penny special is its unique place in the history of U.S. coinage. Although the penny hasn't undergone any significant design changes in decades, coins from different years still have slight differences due to the minting process, and collectors are always on the lookout for these subtle variations. Certain versions of the 1978 penny, especially those with unusual features or errors from the minting process, can be even more valuable. These error coins could have double die strikes, misaligned designs, or other imperfections that make them stand out from the typical, mass-produced versions. What's even more exciting is that some 1978 pennies were minted with a specific flaw, a rare error that has captured the attention of collectors around the world. This error coin is the result of a mistake made during the striking process, which caused the design to appear more than once. These double die coins are among the most sought-after items in coin collecting, and finding one of these 1978 pennies could change your life. Now, you may be wondering, how much could a 1978 1-cent coin really be worth? The answer might surprise you. If you happen to own one of these rare, high-quality 1978 pennies or one with an error, its value has climbed dramatically over the years. So, what's the current worth of a 1978 penny in excellent condition? Well, if your coin checks all the boxes, perfect condition, a rare error, or a unique variation, it could be worth a jaw-dropping $54,000, that's right, $54,000 for a single 1978 penny. It's hard to believe that such a small coin could be worth so much, but it's a testament to how rare and valuable these special coins can become. So, if you have any 1978 pennies sitting around, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. You might just have a hidden treasure in your hands. Before we end, don't forget that condition is key. A coin that's been well preserved, carefully stored, or even sealed in a protective case could be worth far more than one that's been damaged or worn over time. If you find a 1978 penny that you think might be special, consider getting it professionally appraised. You could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Top 4, we're diving into the world of rare American coins with one that's been quietly making waves in the collecting community, the 1-cent coin from 1973. At first glance, this may seem like just another ordinary penny, but trust us, this little coin holds a fascinating story and an incredible value. If you've ever wondered what makes a coin from the 1970s so special, stick around, because we're about to uncover why the 1973 penny might just be worth more than you think. Let's start by setting the scene. 1973 was a year of change in the United States. The country was dealing with the effects of the Vietnam War and the political unrest that came with it. At the same time, the nation was facing an oil crisis that led to inflation and rising prices. It was an intense time, but while all of this was happening, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins, including the 1973 penny. While the 1973 1-cent coin was produced in large numbers, it wasn't until much later that collectors began to recognize its true potential. Many of these pennies were circulated through daily transactions, collected in change jars, or simply forgotten in the corners of drawers. However, in the world of numismatics, it's not just about how many coins were minted, it's about the condition they are in today. The value of a 1973 penny hinges on one key factor: condition. Most of the pennies from this year have been worn down over time. They've passed through countless hands, been used in countless transactions, and, as a result, many of them show significant signs of wear. However, for collectors, the real treasure lies in the pennies that have been kept in near-perfect, uncirculated condition. These pristine coins are much rarer than you might think, and they're exactly what collectors are looking for, but that's not the only thing that can make a 1973 penny valuable. While most of these coins are similar, there are some variations that can increase their worth. For example, there were a number of 1973 pennies minted at the Denver Mint and others at the Philadelphia Mint. In some cases, these mints produced coins with slightly different characteristics, which can make one version of the 1973 penny more desirable than the other. Even more exciting, some 1973 pennies feature minting errors that can make them incredibly valuable. These coins could have struck through errors, misalignments, or even double die impressions. When these mistakes occur during the production process, the coins become one-of-a-kind specimens that are highly coveted by collectors. These rare error coins can fetch a much higher price on the market, especially if they're in good condition. So, you might be asking, what exactly could a 1973 penny be worth today? If you happen to have one of these rare coins, whether it's in pristine condition or contains a unique minting error, the value can be surprising. And here's the big reveal: a 1973 1-cent coin, in exceptional condition or with a rare minting error, could be worth an incredible $57,000, that's right, $57,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that a small coin like this could hold such value, but this is a perfect example of how condition, rarity, and even the slightest imperfection can turn an everyday item into a collector's dream. So, if you've got some 1973 pennies lying around, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Who knows, you might just be holding on to a small fortune. Before you start checking your coin collection, remember that not every 1973 penny is worth a huge sum. Most of these coins are only worth their face value unless they're in exceptional condition or feature one of those rare minting errors. If you think you might have a special coin, it's a good idea to get it appraised by a professional. It could be worth more than you ever imagined. Top 5, we're focusing on a coin that many people overlook, the 1-cent coin from 1977. This seemingly ordinary penny may just be worth far more than you could ever imagine. So, if you've got any 1977 pennies lying around, or you're just curious about rare coins, stick around, because we're about to uncover how much this small coin could be worth. First, let's take a trip back in time to 1977. This was a year of significant change and events in the United States. Jimmy Carter was in his first year as president, and the country was dealing with rising inflation, the energy crisis, and a turbulent political atmosphere. While all of this was happening, the U.S. Mint was busy creating coins, including the 1977 penny, which would eventually become a must-have for collectors. The 1977 1-cent coin was minted in large numbers, just like most pennies from that era. In fact, millions of these coins were produced and circulated throughout the country. But here's the thing: while most 1977 pennies have been spent and long since faded from memory, there are still a few hidden treasures among them. These rare coins stand out due to their remarkable condition, and that's where the value begins to climb. So, what exactly makes the 1977 penny special? Well, the key factor is condition. Most of the 1977 pennies have been through the ringer. They've been used in countless transactions, passed from hand to hand, and worn down over time. However, for those collectors on the hunt, it's the uncirculated coins, the ones that have been carefully preserved and kept in perfect condition, that are truly valuable. Uncirculated 1977 pennies are rare, and finding one in pristine condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. These coins haven't been damaged by wear and tear, and they still retain their original shine. Coins like this can attract the attention of serious collectors and numismatists who are willing to pay top dollar for them. But there's more. Another element that can make a 1977 penny more valuable is the possibility of minting errors. When coins are struck at the U.S. Mint, occasional mistakes happen. Whether it's a misalignment, doubling of the design, or even an error in the metal composition, these small imperfections can transform an ordinary penny into a rare and highly sought-after item. Minting errors are highly collectible, and if you happen to have a 1977 penny with one of these flaws, you may have a real gem on your hands. In addition to minting errors, certain variations of the 1977 penny can also be more valuable. For example, there were two major mints producing pennies in 1977, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. While the differences between these coins may seem subtle, they can influence the value of a particular penny. A penny minted in Philadelphia might have slight design variations compared to one from Denver, and these differences can be key for collectors. Now, you're probably wondering, how much is a 1977 1-cent coin worth today? Well, if you're lucky enough to find a 1977 penny in excellent, uncirculated condition, or if you have one with a rare minting error or variation, its value could be quite impressive. Are you ready for the reveal? A 1977 penny in top-notch condition or with an extraordinary error could be worth a stunning $56,000, yes, you heard that right, $56,000 for a single 1977 penny. That's not a typo. When you think about it, this small coin could change your life if you're fortunate enough to own one of these rare finds. It's proof that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the greatest value. Of course, not every 1977 penny is worth that much. Most pennies from this year are just worth their face value, so it's important to know what to look for. If you happen to find one that's in exceptional condition or has a rare minting error, be sure to get it appraised by a professional. You never know, you might be holding on to a real treasure. Top 6, we've got a very special treat for you, an exciting discovery that could be hiding in your collection or even sitting in your pocket right now. We're talking about the 1-cent coin from 1976, a penny that you might not think twice about. But believe it or not, this seemingly ordinary coin could actually be worth a whole lot of money. So if you've got any 1976 pennies lying around, you're going to want to pay close attention because we're about to dive into the surprising value of this coin. First, let's take a look at the year 1976. It was a monumental year for the United States. The country was celebrating its bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. It was a year of patriotic pride, and the U.S. Mint took this opportunity to release special editions of several coins, including a unique 1976 quarter. But what most people don't realize is that the 1976 1-cent coin also holds some significant value, especially if it's in top condition. The 1976 penny wasn't necessarily minted with any major changes to its design, but there's something about this particular year that makes it stand out to collectors. While millions of these coins were produced, it's the ones that have been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition that really catch the eye of collectors. So, what makes these pennies from 1976 so special? Well, like with any coin, the condition is key. Most 1976 pennies you find today have probably seen their fair share of wear and tear. After all, these coins were used in daily transactions for decades. Over time, they've passed through countless hands, been stored in change jars, and even lost in the depths of forgotten drawers. So, finding one of these pennies in excellent condition is a rare occurrence, and it's what makes them highly desirable to numismatists and coin collectors. But condition alone isn't the only factor that can make a 1976 penny valuable. Some of these coins feature minting errors, and this is where things get really exciting. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin production process. Maybe the design is struck twice, or the coin is misaligned. These errors can cause a coin to be a true rarity. And when a penny has a mistake, especially a mistake that makes it stand out from the rest, it can become a valuable collector's item. One of the most well-known types of minting errors that collectors look for are double die strikes. This happens when the coin is struck by the die more than once, causing parts of the design to appear more than once. It's an imperfection that makes the coin unique, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a 1976 penny with this type of error. Imagine finding a 1976 penny with a double die error. It would instantly increase its value and make it a highly coveted piece. Let's get to the big question: how much is a 1976 1-cent coin really worth? Well, if you've got a 1976 penny that's in mint condition or one that has a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Are you ready for the price? A 1976 penny with excellent preservation or one with a unique error could be worth a staggering $58,000, yes, you heard that right. $58,000 for a single 1976 penny. That's not a typo, it's the kind of money that can make anyone take a second look at their coin collection. So, the next time you're digging through a jar of loose change or looking through your old coins, don't overlook the 1976 pennies. You might just have a rare treasure on your hands. It's important to remember, though, that not every 1976 penny will be worth that kind of money. The majority of these coins are only worth their face value, so it's all about finding the ones in exceptional condition or spotting any potential minting errors. If you think you might have something special, it's always a good idea to get it appraised by a professional. After all, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than you ever imagined. Top 7, we have a thrilling story about a coin that's been quietly catching the attention of collectors and numismatists across the globe, the 1-cent coin from 1975. You might be thinking, it's just a penny, right? Well, you're about to find out that this seemingly simple coin holds some serious value. Stick around as we reveal how a 1975 penny could be worth a surprising amount of money. To start, let's rewind to 1975. It was a year of change and transition in the United States. The country was still recovering from the effects of the Vietnam War, and the political landscape was shifting. Gerald Ford was the president, and the nation was grappling with an economic recession. But while all of this was happening, something else was brewing, a little coin that would eventually become highly sought after in the world of numismatics. The 1975 1-cent coin. Like most coins, the 1975 penny was minted in large numbers to meet the demands of everyday transactions. It was used in millions of purchases, stored in countless piggy banks, and even tossed into jars of loose change. But here's the catch, finding a 1975 penny in excellent condition today is actually quite rare. Most of the pennies from this year have been circulated for decades and have suffered from wear and tear. So, what makes a 1975 penny valuable? It all comes down to the condition. When it comes to collecting coins, condition is everything. Coins that have been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition are much more valuable than those that have been worn down over time. So, while the 1975 1-cent coin was mass-produced, only a small fraction of these coins have survived in perfect condition. That's where the true value lies. If you happen to come across a 1975 penny that looks as if it just came out of the mint, you may have found something very special, but that's not all. There's another reason why the 1975 penny has become so valuable: minting errors. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, such as a misalignment, a double die strike, or a coin struck with the wrong metal. These errors make the coin unique, and collectors go crazy for these kinds of one-of-a-kind pieces. If you have a 1975 penny with a minting error, it could drastically increase its value. One common error that collectors look for in 1975 pennies is the double die strike. This happens when the die used to imprint the design on the coin strikes it twice, causing the image to appear doubled. If you have a 1975 penny with a double die strike, you might just be holding a rare treasure. These minting errors are highly collectible and can fetch a premium price, especially when the coin is in top condition. Now, you're probably wondering, how much could a 1975 penny be worth today? Well, it depends on its condition and whether it has any minting errors, but here's the big reveal: a 1975 penny in exceptional, uncirculated condition or one with a rare minting error could be worth a jaw-dropping $59,000, that's right, $59,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but the value of certain rare coins can skyrocket, and this 1975 1-cent coin is one of those examples. So, the next time you're going through your coin collection or sifting through a jar of change, don't overlook those 1975 pennies. They could be worth a lot more than their face value. Of course, it's important to note that not every 1975 penny will fetch this kind of price. Most of them will only be worth their face value unless they meet certain criteria, like being in uncirculated condition or having a minting error. If you think you found a rare one, it's a great idea to get it appraised by a professional coin dealer who can help determine its value. Top 8. We're diving into a coin that you might not expect to be worth much, but trust us, this one could surprise you. Today, we're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1981. Yes, a penny from 1981 might not seem like the most exciting find, but it's got a value that could make any collector's heart race. Stick around to the end, because we're about to reveal how much this small coin could be worth. Let's start by taking a quick trip back to 1981. It was a year full of big changes in the U.S. Ronald Reagan was sworn in as president, the country was experiencing a recession, and the world was embracing the early 80s culture of change and innovation. But while all this was happening in the world around us, something quietly significant was taking place in the U.S. Mint. The creation of the 1981 1-cent coin. The 1981 penny was minted in huge quantities, just like most of the other pennies from the era. But here's the thing, while millions of these coins were produced, finding one in pristine condition today is actually quite rare. Most of the 1981 pennies that have survived the years have been through a lot. They've been passed from person to person, used in thousands of daily transactions, and have suffered from the wear and tear of time. That's why the condition of these pennies plays such a huge role in determining their value. So, what makes the 1981 penny so special? Well, if you have an uncirculated version of this coin, you're sitting on a potential treasure. Uncirculated coins are those that have never been used in everyday transactions. They're essentially as close to brand new as you can get. They haven't suffered the usual damage that comes with being tossed around in pockets or thrown into change jars. If you happen to come across a 1981 penny that looks like it was just minted yesterday, that could be a key factor in its increased value, but there's more to it than just a coin in mint condition. There are also specific errors or variations that can make a 1981 penny extremely valuable. One of the most sought-after features by collectors are minting errors. These happen when something goes wrong during the production process, leading to coins that don't quite match the standard design. Whether it's a misalignment, an incomplete strike, or any other irregularity, these mistakes can turn an ordinary coin into a rare gem. Among the most valuable error types are double die strikes. This is when the die used to strike the coin hits it multiple times, creating a doubled effect on the design. Imagine finding a 1981 penny that has a doubled image of Abraham Lincoln or the words E pluribus unum. That would make your coin an absolute rarity and something that collectors would be eager to get their hands on. Now, we know you're probably dying to know, how much could a 1981 penny really be worth? Well, let's get to the exciting part. If you happen to have a 1981 penny in flawless condition or one that has a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth an incredible $49,000. Yes, you heard that right, $49,000 for a single 1981 penny. It's hard to believe that something so small and seemingly ordinary could hold such value. But in the world of numismatics, it's the rare finds that make all the difference. So, the next time you're going through your old coins or hunting for treasures in your change jar, keep an eye out for that 1981 penny. It could be worth far more than you ever thought possible. Of course, not every 1981 penny is going to be worth that kind of money. Most of these coins are still only worth their face value unless they meet certain criteria, like being in pristine condition or featuring a minting error. But if you think you found a rare version of the 1981 penny, it's worth having it appraised by a professional. You might just have a coin that's worth a small fortune. Top 9, we've got something truly exciting for you. If you've ever wondered whether that old penny from your pocket or coin jar could be worth a small fortune, you might want to take a closer look at your 1981-cent coins. While most pennies are worth just 1 cent, a 1980 penny could be hiding a secret that's worth a lot more. Stick around until the end because we're going to reveal how much this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth in today's market. Let's set the stage by diving into 1980. It was a year of significant change in the United States. The country was navigating through the tail end of the 1970s economic struggles, and President Jimmy Carter was in office. But while the nation was experiencing political and economic transitions, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins for everyday transactions, including the 1981 cent coin. Little did anyone know that this penny, which was used by millions of Americans in routine exchanges, would later become a sought-after collector's item. The 1980 penny is what we call a memorial penny, meaning it features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front, side. This design has become a staple in U.S. coinage, and this particular penny was minted in huge quantities, making it quite common. But here's where things get interesting. While millions of these pennies were produced and widely circulated, it's the ones in mint condition that have the potential to be worth a lot more than their face value. Now, you might be wondering, what makes a 1980 penny valuable? The answer lies in its condition and rarity. Most 1980 pennies have been in circulation for over 4 decades, which means they've been handled, tossed into change jars, and passed from hand to hand. Over time, this wear and tear can cause significant damage to the coin, reducing its value. However, if you're lucky enough to come across an uncirculated 1980 penny, one that's been preserved in excellent condition, you could have something that's highly desirable to collectors. Uncirculated coins are those that have never been used in everyday transactions. They've been carefully stored or set aside, untouched by the usual wear and tear. Coins in pristine condition can fetch much higher prices in the collector's market. So if you find a 1980 penny that looks as good as new, you've already got a good start. But that's not all. There's another factor that can increase the value of your 1980 penny: minting errors. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, such as a misalignment, double die strikes, or an improper strike. These errors are incredibly rare, and when they occur, they can turn an ordinary penny into a highly valuable collector's item. For example, a 1980 penny with a double die strike, where parts of the design are doubled or blurred, can be worth a significant amount more than a standard penny. These types of errors make coins unique, and collectors are always on the lookout for these rare finds. So, you're probably asking the big question now: just how much is a 1981 cent coin worth? Well, if you've got an uncirculated 1980 penny, or even one with a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a goldmine. A well-preserved, error-free penny could be worth around $50,000. Yes, you heard that right, $50,000 for a single 1980 penny. It's hard to believe, but in the world of coin collecting, rare and pristine coins can fetch staggering amounts. So, if you're lucky enough to have one of these valuable pennies in your collection, you could have a small fortune on your hands. Keep in mind that the value of a 1980 penny really depends on its condition, any minting errors, and how much demand there is for it among collectors. If you're not sure whether your 1980 penny is worth anything special, it's always a good idea to have it appraised by a professional numismatist or coin dealer. They can help you determine its value and let you know if you found something truly rare. Top 10 and last penny coin. We have an exciting story that will make you look at your loose change in a whole new light. That small, seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin from 1987 might just be hiding a secret that could make you thousands of dollars richer. Yes, you heard that right. While most pennies from this era are worth just 1 cent, some 1987 pennies are worth a whole lot more. Stick around, because you won't believe how much this humble coin could fetch in today's market. Let's set the stage and take a quick trip back to 1987. The country was in the midst of the Reagan era, and the U.S. was riding a wave of economic growth after coming out of the early 80s recession. While the country was focused on things like politics and international relations, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins for everyday use, including the 1-cent coin. Millions of these pennies were minted to meet the needs of the American economy, and many of them were used in everyday transactions. But now, 36 years later, we've got something special to talk about when it comes to the 1987 penny. So, what makes the 1987 1-cent coin stand out in the world of numismatics? The key to its value lies in the condition of the coin. Like many coins, the 1987 penny was circulated widely, meaning it was passed from hand to hand, tossed into change jars, and spent on everything from candy bars to bus fare. Over time, most of these pennies have endured heavy wear and tear, which reduces their value. But here's the twist: if you happen to have an uncirculated 1987 penny, one that has been carefully preserved, you could be sitting on a small treasure. Uncirculated coins are those that have never been used in regular circulation, meaning they have stayed in perfect condition. These coins look almost like they were just minted yesterday. Because of their pristine condition, uncirculated coins are highly sought after by collectors. If you have a 1987 penny that still looks brand new, it could be worth much more than its face value. But wait, there's even more that makes this coin interesting. While uncirculated coins are valuable, minting errors are where things get really exciting. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process. These errors might include misaligned dies, double strikes, or a coin struck with the wrong metal. Minting errors are rare, and when they do happen, they make a coin stand out from the rest. So, if your 1987 penny has any kind of minting error, it could be worth a lot more than the typical penny. One of the most desirable types of minting errors collectors look for is the double die strike. A double die occurs when the coin is struck twice, causing the design to appear doubled or blurred. If you find a 1987 penny with a double die strike, you could be holding a highly valuable collector's item. Coins with these types of errors are rare and can increase in value exponentially. So, how much is a 1987 penny worth? The big reveal is that an uncirculated 1987 penny, or one with a rare minting error, could be worth an astounding $43,000, that's right, $43,000 for a single penny. It's incredible how something so small and common could have such a massive value. However, it's important to note that not every 1987 penny will be worth that much. The value depends on the coin's condition, any minting errors, and how much collectors are willing to pay for it. Still, if you come across a 1987 penny that's in mint condition or has an error, it's definitely worth having it appraised. If you think you might have found one of these rare gems, consider taking it to a professional coin dealer or numismatist for an appraisal. They can help determine if your penny has any special features that could make it worth a significant amount of money. Thanks for joining us today as we uncovered the hidden value of the 1987 1-cent coin. We hope you're now inspired to take a second look at your coin collection or check that old jar of change. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our future videos. Who knows what other hidden treasures we'll find next? Keep collecting and happy hunting.